Hey, everybody. My name is Megan Dettenmeyer, LANDFIRE Communications Lead. My colleague Randy Swati and I are trying something new out here at the LANDFIRE program. Now, we often hear from our LANDFIRE community with questions, and we are happy to answer them, but we realized we were answering a lot of the same questions. So, in order to expand our reach and potentially help out more folks within the LANDFIRE community, we decided to document our thinking behind answering these questions and provide them on this platform to see if it could be useful to other people. So with that, please let us know in the comments below if this is useful to you, and let's get started.
The fire needs assessment, basically this is the workflow. This is the very simplistic, high-level overview fire needs assessment, right? There are a lot of ways to do fire needs assessment. In my opinion, just my opinion, the base process of a fire needs assessment using LANDFIRE data starts here. And this is it. First things first is we need to look at the historical vegetation, which LANDFIRE calls biophysical settings. It's basically pre-European colonization ecosystems. And so we want to understand for whatever your landscape is, state, small area, group of states, how many of each acres of that historical vegetation were on your landscape. That info, and we'll get into the LANDFIRE piece later, comes with a fire return interval. So how often that particular ecosystem burned historically, not currently. And so you can apply that to the historical vegetation, calculate how many acres of each ecosystem type burned per year to get the big picture, the historical context picture. And so we then want to look at the current vegetation. We want to understand how many different kinds of current vegetation systems are on the landscape, and then take out stuff that's not going to burn, basically. Generally, that's agriculture, that's urban, barren land. It might be some other things in your area. You decide. Then we rematch the extent of the historical vegetation to the current vegetation, right? So current vegetation systems, what is the historical fire return interval of the current vegetation system? And that there are two ways of doing that. You can just use the underlying biophysical settings, historical fire return interval on current vegetation, or you can crosswalk them. Crosswalking them is harder. We do not do that in this website, but we did do it in other assessments that are examples that we show you on this website.
So it's really kind of simple. If you think about examining historical vegetation and historical fire return intervals, and then taking current existing vegetation and comparing those two things. Am I correct?
Yeah, basically, we're just saying, based on what we know about the fire return interval, which is historical because of how our models work in LANDFIRE, there are this many acres of burnable vegetation in your area. The fire return intervals underneath those particular pixels are this. And then you just do the easiest math ever, which is figure out how many acres of each existing vegetation type, figure out what the fire return interval is, and then divide the acres by the fire return interval to get how many acres should burn per year.